What up, sports fans and fellow foodies? I'm Julie, and welcome to my kitchen, where each week I talk sports while whipping up some culinary treats. And it is Super Bowl Eve. It is finally here as we are sitting here the night before Super Bowl 60. 40 years later, it is that rematch of the Bears and the Patriots. And wait, it's not? The Bears aren't in the Super Bowl tomorrow? And I wore my sparkly Bears sweatshirt for this? All right, I guess I will acknowledge the Bears are not there, the Patriots are, and it's the Seahawks representing the NFC. So you got the NFC 1 seed, the AFC's 2 seed, and you've got two young quarterbacks who I think are going to be the difference makers in this game. I know, going out on a limb there, but you do have factors like the Seahawks defense, which has been spectacular throughout the regular and postseason. But I think it's going to boil down to Sam Darnold and Drake May and who makes better decisions in the clutch. Drake May has gotten sacked a ton this year. In fact, 47 times during the regular season, which was 4th in the NFL. Sam Darnold, he can be sketchy. He's been really good in the postseason, especially when he's making some decisions on the fly, scrambling, making plays, and protecting the football. He has not turned the ball over in the postseason. Drake May has. He's had some fumble issues, and that goes in conjunction with the sacks. So whichever quarterback I think is more calm, more composed, protects the football, I think that's the guy who's captaining the winning team. All right, let's get to the important part, and that is the Super Bowl food. Everybody plans their Super Bowl parties and get-togethers around who's bringing what and what are you serving. And I'm going to give you a couple quick ones tonight. We like to keep these videos short enough that you guys can watch it on your lunch break or when you got a few minutes during a commercial of your favorite TV show. I'm trying to keep them pretty short, so we're going to power through a few things today, but these are going to make you look like a hero if you bring them to your Super Bowl gathering or if you serve them at the one you're hosting. All right, so everybody knows you want some little grab-at-it finger food, stuff like Chex Mix. Except you're going to go one up from Chex Mix. Everybody brings Chex Mix. You are going to bring some seasoned oyster crackers. Ooh, so what they are, it's a 9-ounce bag of oyster crackers. That's the regular size you find in the store, just like this. You're going to take a Ziploc bag, and in it, you want a big one, in it you're going to put a ½ cup of melted butter. That's 1 stick. In addition, separately in a bowl, you're going to mix some spices that you're then going to add to the butter in your bag. You're going to mix a packet of ranch dressing mix. You're going to add 1 teaspoon of garlic salt, 1 teaspoon smoked paprika, and a ½ teaspoon of dill. You're going to get all those herbs mixed together, dump them in with your melted butter. And then you're going to put your oyster crackers in the same bag. So easy cleanup. You're just going to kind of work them around in there and make sure you get them all soaked in the butter. And then you're going to toss them in your oven, 250. You're going to bake them on low for about 25 minutes. You'll toss them around in the middle of that bake time. Let them cool for about 5 minutes. When they come out, you got these cute little addictive crackers. All right, that's your first course. Your second course, everybody does wings on Super Bowl Sunday. It is the most popular Super Bowl treat or snack, and that is a fact. That is statistically true. I'm not a huge wings fan, not gonna lie. I'm gonna show you something that's a little bit of a twist on that, and we're gonna make a buffalo chicken dip instead. It's 3 ingredients, comes together super fast. I'm starting with 1 cup of a store-bought chicken salad. I'm going to add to that a 1/4 cup of your favorite buffalo sauce. For me, I'm not so big on the spicy. Maybe that's not why I'm not a big wings fan. I don't love the spices. So, I mean, you know, you can do what I'm doing here. I've got a really mild one. I've got a medium one. I know most of you do the hot stuff. Not for me, but that's the nice thing is you can just kind of tweak it based on your taste. You can even have 2 different bowls out for your guests. You can have one that's labeled mild and one that's labeled hot as hell, or whatever you want to call it. There's a salsa that I experienced many years ago called Fire in the Hole. And yeah, that's for those of you who like it really, really spicy. All right, so here, there's that orange color, you know, if you love your buffalo wings. We're mixing this in, and then I'm gonna add to that a whole bunch of blue cheese. You're gonna add some that you're gonna mix in. I'm just approximating here, depends how much you love it. I'm gonna mix some in so that when people are digging into this, they're gonna get those big chunks of cheese. And you can actually dip anything you want in here. You can do crackers, you can do tortilla chips. All right, you can see I got my sauce pushing up to the edges there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle a little more cheese on top for garnish, just like that, make it look a little fancier. I'm serving it with some carrot sticks because with all the junk food you eat on Super Bowl Sunday, you need something a little healthy there. So you got your carrot sticks, you got your buffalo chicken ranch dip, and bam, look how quickly that all came together. All right, here's your showstopper. Here is your main event. I've got a Sloppy Joe bar going on here. So I've got a couple different kinds of buns. I've got regular slider buns, and I also have the Hawaiian rolls if you want something a little sweeter. All right, but what we're gonna do here is we're gonna show you some really cool things you can serve your guests to make it just one step above the norm. So here I have my Sloppy Joe mix. You can make it any way you'd like. You can make it with the canned sauce. You can make your sauce from scratch. You can have that ready and just sitting in a crock pot on the island or the table where you've got people fixing their plates. All right, we're gonna dig in here. I've got a little bit of string cheese stretched across there on the top. And you're gonna have this set up so people can put whatever they want on it. But boy, I'm gonna show you a couple really cool twists. So here's my guilty little secret. I do this when we have tacos at home too. I love canned easy cheese. I know, I'm disgusting, I get it. You can have some nice little shredded cheeses out for your guests. I'm just gonna do this with my easy cheese. And I love that you could just like be a kid again and just squish it all over. It melts really easy though. That's why I like it on tacos. So you got one that's got cheese on it. All right, then a couple other ideas I have here. If you want something that's a little sweet, I know you've already got that sweetness in the Sloppy Joe mix. Got a little bit of crushed pineapple you can put on there. If you want to go with the pickle route, I have not only my sweet relish, but I also have some bread and butter pickled slices that I folded in half. So you can put those on there as well. And then go ahead and take advantage of what your grocery store has in terms of pre-made dips and slaws and things like that. I found some really good ones that I think are gonna be dynamite. I've got a caramelized onion and bacon dip that you can put on there. And this is an apple vinaigrette slaw. I've been eating this, you can kind of see I've been tapping into it, just snacking on it while I was prepping here, because it's got that tang of coleslaw, but it's also got a little sweetness from your apples. So I think that could be the winner combination in all of this. You got your little slider bar set up here, your Sloppy Joes, and your guests will have something kind of different, and they can come back through the line several times and fix things that are different each time. Variety is the spice of life, right? All right, you know me, I love my sweets. You cannot end your night without some dessert options. What we're gonna do here, I just baked off some brownies. You can make them from scratch. You can use a mix. I used a sheet of aluminum foil in the pan. Look how nice and easy that slides out. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take some football cookie cutters. So this one's kind of ginormous. People want little bite-sized things at a Super Bowl party, but if you wanna go for a big football, go for it. I'm gonna use a smaller one. Here's my little cheat on this one. This is actually a round cookie cutter because this was the size I was going for, that I just bent and pinched, and I got my oblong shape for a football. All right, if you're like me, you like the edges. You like them because they're chewier, but you can also cut them out from the center if you like them a little fudgier, a little more cake-like. The beautiful thing about having them on the tin foil here is that they're not gonna stick for you because you can push up from the tin foil. So as you can see, I have this really nice shaped football, or you can flip it over if you want it really smooth. So just for giggles, let's use the smooth side. I've just got a bag of my homemade buttercream, but you can use store-bought frosting, whatever you want to do if you've got one that you like to whip up. And we're gonna mimic what I did there with the cheese on the Sloppy Joe mix. And I'm just gonna take my frosting and pipe a white line like that. And then I'm gonna pipe some stitches crosswise. I usually do 3. You could do 5 if you got enough space. But just like that, you've got these beautiful little brownies. Who does not love brownies? And you've got a cute little football motif going there. And the best part is you're gonna have all these little edges, all these pieces from where you cut out all this stuff. So if you're the person preparing, you can go ahead and just snack on these as, you know, just quality control, see how they're tasting. Or you can kind of smush these up a little bit. This one's gonna be a little small, but you can kind of make pseudo cake balls out of these, except they'll be brownie balls. And you can dip these in chocolate. You can roll them in cocoa powder. They're almost like a brownie truffle. So nothing on here is going to go to waste. You can even use those brownie edges and leftover scraps. You can put them on ice cream sundaes. Oh my gosh, there's so much you can do with the brownie part that didn't make it to the football cut. All right, so that's 4 quick things you can do, especially if you forget till the last minute that you're supposed to bring something to the Super Bowl party. A lot of this is stuff you're already gonna have in your pantry. So, and you don't wanna be shopping at like 3 o'clock on Super Bowl Sunday. Bad, bad, very crowded grocery stores. So get there ahead of time. That's why we're dropping this on Saturday night. So you've got all day Sunday to replicate some of these recipes and to make yourself the MVP of the Super Bowl get together. All right, my pick, my head wants to say the Seahawks. My heart's gonna go with the Patriots. My good friend Chris Kelly, he is a Patriots season ticket holder. He is so excited for this game. He and I co-host a webinar on LinkedIn on Wednesdays. He's dying for this game to get underway. I can't pick against his Patriots. He'll kick me off the webinar. So I'll go with the Patriots in my heart. I think it's going to be tight, but I hope that whoever wins this one, it's a good game. The commercials are good. The halftime show is good. I just hope it's a great time for everybody who's watching. Whether you're watching it at home, with friends, at a bar, wherever you're watching it, if you're lucky enough to have tickets to the game, what are you watching me for? If you're in the San Francisco area getting ready for the game, you should be going to Super Bowl parties. But for those of you watching, I appreciate you being here. Have fun with the Super Bowl. We're going to start moving on to some other stuff in the upcoming weeks. Football's wrapping up. So we'll start hitting some other sports, and I keep mentioning it, spring training, pitchers and catchers report this week. So we'll start getting into some more baseball. We got basketball, and we've got hockey, and I think coming up pretty soon, we've got a Valentine's Day special here too on Play by Plate. So thanks for joining me. Have fun with your Super Bowl get-togethers, and I'll see you next time.